Greetings, dear viewers. Welcome to Diaspora Point. This is your host, Auma Bella. Today, we have a mega guest, a guest who is going to explain a lot of things for us regarding the improvements and the revolution that we have had in Africa with regards to energy, with regards to power, with regards to certain inventions that for those who have not heard of them will blow your minds. And now, our guest, Engineer Yinka, please introduce yourself in full and let us know what you do.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good to see you again. Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Yinka Abioye. I guess I would say I was lost as a chemical engineer so many years ago. Worked in oil and gas, pharmaceuticals, petrochemicals, petrocatalysts, and a bunch of other industries in manufacturing. I've been fortunate to have worked on a lot of continents and lived on a lot of continents. I retired from corporate rat race, I say, about 10 years ago. And what I do now is focus on Pan-Africanism. How do we make our continent a better place? I've been fortunate to have been to a lot of countries on the continent. And I guess in my retired mode and later years of life, the interest is more on how do I impact all the things I saw when I was running around the continent to make it a better place. So we created a festival of art and culture platform because we saw that the biggest void on the continent is not technology, is not money, is not industry. The number one thing missing on the continent is interconnectivity of all the countries culturally, whereby you can be in Senegal, see somebody in Malawi, in Mozambique, and know you are seeing a brother of yours, and immediately think about how to work together for a better continent. And that's what I do right now. And we've done 3 consecutive years of the festival. Festival dated back to 1966, when our fathers back then thought about how to remove the lines that divided Africa, the invisible lines, I must say, because I don't think any of our countries have borders where there's a fence that form the shape of all the lines you see. So those lines were drawn imaginary on our mind, and we kept them as a subject because that's what people told us the countries should look like, rather than one Africa, one continent. So we are working on using that platform, which started in 66. Unfortunately, it died for 11 years. Second one happened in 1977. Nigeria saw over 100,000 people coming into Nigeria, over 15,000 participants from about 70 countries. At a time when Africa had only 40-something countries, which meant almost 45% of the people that came were from non-African countries, which means our relatives out there in Venezuela, in Bolivia, in Panama, in France, in the UK, all over the world came together to Africa in 77 to celebrate Pan-Africanism. Again in the 70s, with all the coup d'etat and all the problems, festival died. And so 45 years later, we resurrected the festival, never to die again, because what Africa is missing is coming together. So we've done 3 consecutive years. First one in Zanzibar, 2022, 2023 in Arusha, Tanzania, 2024 in lovely Kisumu, Dala, Kisumu, Kenya, in 2024. Hey. And of course, getting ready for 25 and beyond. So that's what I do now, and I love it.
That's fantastic. You know, first It's a rallying point for the continent and beyond, the continent and the diaspora. And we applaud you and your team for having done it successfully for the last 3 years. And the one in Kisumu was just great, brought so many people from all over the world. Now, we want to focus today on African and current inventions that are affecting and how they are affecting the lives in Africa, how they are going to revolutionize Africa from what it is now and to catapult to the next phase. For example, being that you're an engineer, I want you to really talk about 3 things that have happened, 3 inventions. 2 of them are inventions. The third one is an innovation. The first one is Zimbabwe's invention of a car that uses microsonic, a car that just powers itself. You don't have to put battery, you don't have to put petrol, you don't have to put anything. It is just invented the cars and the motorbikes that will just use microsonic energy. And then after that, we will then talk about another car which has been invented in Burkina Faso, which is using electric batteries. And then we need to talk about fossil fuel, the Dangote refinery. Please start us off with the Zimbabwe invention of the microsonic energy, whatever you know about it, and what you think would be its implications to the continent and the world.
Thank you. I think, like I said with first time, our biggest problem on the continent is not understanding our own values and our own contribution proudly to the development of the continent as well as the world. It is often easy for us to always look to the West for support without even taking the time to dig in our countries first. But I think before we go to those 3 specific things, I like to go a little bit broader. And then I will come back into those things because anytime we get a chance to talk, as you know me, is a time to tell our children the great things of the continent.
Yes.
And the overall feeling of being proud Africans, knowing the good things can come from this continent is part of success. Before I get into the energy or even cars, I would like to mention some technological milestones on the continent. Because, the last thing people will think is, can Africans get into technology? I think I told you this before the last time we talked. When I was a kid, I sat in the room dreaming one day. I don't know what happened. My dad was driving me somewhere. We got stuck in traffic, and I'm like, one day, I'm going to get older and design a car that when we get into traffic, it will just lift off and drive and fly away.
You did.
And then find a place where there's no traffic, come down and start driving. But of course, I didn't get it done because I got lost into chemistry. But we see that today. And a lot of those things are our children in the developed nation leading all those things. So let me talk about the tech that's happened in Africa first, and then we'll get into the car and into the energy as you suggested. Number 1, mobile pay by M-Pesa.
Yes.
Most of us on the continent, other than East Africans, in most cases other than Kenyans, even understand what M-Pesa is and the power of M-Pesa. M-Pesa has rendered Kenya a cashless society.
Yes.
By being cashless, it has also improved safety and security. Because bad things would happen if somebody will not rob you if what they're going to get from you is a card or a number. Okay?
Yeah.
So in countries where they still carry cash, they are seeing a lot of issues. But more than anything else, 60, 70, 80 years ago, Japan was the leading technology country. Sanyo, Sony, Aiwa, right? I can go on the names. Toyota, Nissan, right? Came from Japan. Can you believe Japan had to come into Kenya to learn M-Pesa and take M-Pesa back home
Yes.
to use? Something great came from Africa.
Yeah.
Fintech, Flutterwave, Paystack, Stripe. Flutterwave has been launched in the exchange now, valued at $3 billion. A company that started by people that were just got out of university, out of Nigeria, some young guys, probably still 40 in their 40s right now. The tech hubs that are all over Africa. Africa in AI and robotics, 4G and 5G technology, internet connectivity alone in what has been happening. The beautiful thing about this is still that our continent still has room to develop.
Yes.
So while these things are going better, there's still room, and we need to consciously work on that. Our solar energy games that's going on, solar plants being built all over, like the one in a city called Ouarzazate in Morocco.
Yes.
I mean, it's a huge solar plant. I mean, I can even go. I'm not even going to go into details of that, but you understand what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Believe it or not, 22 years ago, Nigeria went into the African space program.
Okay.
For a lot of other parts of life improvement. After Nigeria, Egypt, South Africa, other countries have gone in.
Yes.
These are some of milestones and advancement that our people have gone through that we have not gotten the benefit of it. The power of e-commerce of today. People are moving around with e-commerce right now. You don't have to stay, you don't have to get out of your house anymore. You make a phone call, you get a boda boda or kada will deliver your food to you.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Blockchain and cryptocurrencies. This thing is advancing. There are actually cryptocurrencies designed on the continent. And instead of us coming around those things as government, as African Union, as leaders, let's do homegrown growth. I mean, if you go to a doctor, the doctor will touch you, put a stethoscope on you, find what is wrong with you. After he decides what is wrong with you, then they will take care of you. But guess what? Right now, you can do a Zoom and you can talk to the doctor on the Zoom. And with telemedicine, the doctor can tell you what is needed to be done. Agritech, there's a company called Farm Crowdy in Nigeria that trigger foods in Kenya. I mean, these are agritech companies that come again in milestones of Africa. After I've done a lot of things also in technology. And last but not the least, your comment on microsonic and electric vehicles.
Yes.
So I wanted you to see that there are so many things on the continent.
Yes.
I'll give you a big example.
Yes.
A company called Innocent in Nigeria. The man has been investing on his life in building cars in Nigeria. But do our leaders sit back and say, rather than buying foreign imported cars, let's buy from these guys? Even if the car is not as strong as whatever, the other guys like your Kia, as an example.
Yes.
South Korea, 20, 30 years ago, didn't have a car brand. They start down, they made their first mistakes with the Kia or what's the other. But critically, let's go into your comment about Maxwell Chikumbuzo out of Zimbabwe.
Yes.
I remember when there was the university in America in the 80s. I was doing chemical engineering, and a Black American friend of mine was doing mechanical engineering. And the guy designed a motor that does not die, that kind of self-propels,
Yes.
doesn't consume fuel or lubricant. And I mean, today I'm looking at Zimbabwe, and I'm also taking some without XYZ, and my motor will continue to run for so many hours. Would you believe that these guys' theses were thrown out.
Oh.
Even all of us that were going back then, we were so much into, well, maybe what is talking about is not possible. Maybe the teachers were not being, I don't want to use the word racist, or just blatantly not supporting what he was doing. And the guy insisted on it and said, you know what? Even if I'm graded wrong, I believe what I'm saying works. The same thing with this Chikumbiso in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
The first thing they did so many years ago was using radio waves to do a lot of things. That's when they saw what they did. They were like, these boys have something in this thing they're doing. Now, what happens when you do that? You might destroy a business. You might destroy people that have spent billions of dollars over the years to grow an industry. They were asked to come into the US to get access to technology, to hasten what they are trying to do. Unfortunately, they thought they were poisoned because one of them died.
Yes, unfortunately.
So the other one was the one that came back home.
Yes.
And the government of Zimbabwe now put some money behind him to put him to work. And then being able to develop what they have developed. So what they've done is a huge thing on the continent.
Yes.
You know, I'm even going to say this. Even if it doesn't work, it's from Africa. We should all support it because technology will increase and improve over time.
Yes.
Even if it's not right, we need to all buy from them. We need to work with them. We need to do everything supportive in supporting what they're doing to make the continent a better place.
Yes, Engineer, may I just reiterate something you said? The network on your side was a bit unstable and a lot of good stuff got missed out. But I just wanted to reiterate the journey of Maxwell Mukombutsi, how, to your point, he tried this, and went to the US to see if he can get some patents with his colleague. And when some of the people he showed this, maybe somebody was not very happy, and they poisoned them. His colleague died in a hospital in New York, I think it was, in the US. And he was lucky and he survived from this poisoning. And he came back, and to your point, I'm reiterating this because there was a Wi-Fi instability and some of it was cut out. He came back and the president of Zimbabwe backed him up with some money and some connections. And now we have a microsonic invention, a car which will just run without petrol, without battery, and all these other things. To your point, without fuel. To your point, it's ours. And the more we use it, and we need to buy it en masse, and we need to use it en masse, and the more we use it, the more it will be perfected to infinity. Go ahead, sir.
Good. Thank you for reiterating that because I think more than anything else, our message is to our African Union leaders. Even if the car is not the best, let's buy it. Let's keep using it because the more we buy, the more they will have more money to do research to improve on what they are doing.
Absolutely.
So, and I mean, yeah, let's ever talk about the benefits of maybe the environmental security or better climate and all that kind of stuff. It is invented in Africa.
The network on your side was a bit unstable and a lot of good stuff got missed out. But I just wanted to reiterate another car which has been invented in Burkina Faso, which is using electric batteries. Yes.
Before we get into the Dangote refinery, I'd like to point out some energy milestones on the continent.
Yes.
Because those things are very critical, and we'll get specific on the refinery. We have increased renewable solar energy adoption in Africa, as I said earlier. The big one being the one in Morocco, in Ouarzazate. We have the geothermal, I think you guys call it what? I hope I say it very correctly. Olkaria or something like that in Kenya.
Olkaria, I
The
think it's
geothermal
Olkaria.
that you have.
Yes, you're right.
Olkaria, sorry.
Yes.
Excuse my ignorance in pronunciation,
No, you did
right?
well.
And you have that in Kenya, things to celebrate. And of course, other renewable energy programs in South Africa. We have a lot of electrification going on right now. People, but because of distribution limitations from the.
So, your parting shots.
I love my continent. I love my people. The first thing that is important to me, self-pride.
Yes.
We can do it. A lot of our children at the technical brain on a lot of continents. We just need leadership. We need the people in power to appreciate those people, bring them back home, use their brains at home, respect them, buy from them, even if what they've done is not the most aesthetic looking thing. They need your support to make the continent better. Africa is not the future. Africa is now. And our leaders need to look at that and say, in my lifetime, I don't want to be second class to anybody anymore. There's nothing wrong with me being proud enough to say I want to be first class. And that's the mind the leadership should do to support the children and make the continent a better place. The world is ours. We have a lot of youth. We have good brain. We have good energy. We have arable lands. I haven't even gone into minerals. We have all the minerals in the world.
Yes.
And that's why people are coming to Africa. What's wrong with us using God-given opportunity to do the right thing for ourselves and our children and our future?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Let's make it work.
Fantastic.
Africa is now. Africa is now. Africa is not the future. Africa is now.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Viewers, you heard from him, from the engineer himself, telling us that Africa is now. Africa is not the future. The engineer is telling us that we have to encourage our children and to assure them that Africa is great. Africa has everything. And we Africans, and especially our children up and coming, just like ourselves, have great, good brains. And there's nothing we cannot do. Once upon a time, I saw a book, not once upon a time, not too many years ago, saying, shall Africa own the 21st century? Yes, indeed. Africa is owning the 21st century. We got to speed up. We got to be sure-footed and make sure we own the 21st century. Thank you all very much. Remember to subscribe to our channel so that we can bring you great guests like Engineer Yinka Abiyoe. Do share widely and like our video and our channel. Thank you so much and kwaheri. Bye-bye.